Shalom, scattered tribes. It's a beautiful morning here. It snowed last night. Some you can hear the wind blowing. It's blowing pretty hard. Am I the only weirdo that really enjoys cold weather? It's been a few weeks, or maybe a month or so, since I shared some of my dreams, and so I think I'm going to share two of them today with you. These are dreams that I had years ago, that I felt led in the spirit when I had these dreams to get up and write them down, with the details, not knowing what they meant, exactly, but knowing that they had some type of spiritual significance. So I'm going to share a couple of them with you. The first one here is I dated it November 22nd of 2021. And I wrote, my mom was getting things prepared for this big get together. There were lots of people at her house, except it was a different house than where she actually lives. And it was taking a long time to get things ready. Well, the clock, I remember looking at the clock on the stove, and it said 7:45 p.m. So I went on a walk with one of my cousins, and we went like through this field, up this like narrow road, and we started walking through these streets, and there were all kinds of like crazy people talking really weird things. There were babies crawling in the streets. People were begging for drugs. There were crazy women outside of an old tall building. And I remember like having to walk over people. Um, it's like they were out in the streets just acting really crazy and saying really weird things, like they were drugged up and stuff. Anyway, so my cousin and I we're walking down the street, and there's buildings on both sides, and there's a tall building on the left corner of the street, and it was the end, and it was black, and it had a green door on it, and we had to walk through these people to get into the door. So I remember when we walk into the foyer of this building or this house, I looked to the right, and the first thing I saw were like two like hand towels, and they had like Illuminati symbols on them, or Freemasonry, and they were ivory colored, and they were on the right. I put with the all-seeing eye, and then all of a sudden this lady comes running out, and she's asking my cousin if he had seen her baby, and she kept, and I remember in the dream she kept saying he was like this tall, as if he was like some type of like I don't know, like troll or something. But she kept saying, have you seen my baby? And she was, I remember this, like she was acting really crazy. And I looked at my cousin and said, she's speaking the truth. I have some things to tell you. And as we proceed up the steps, so in this house, there's like, once you walk in, there was like a set of steps here with a kind of like little platform, and then you'd have to turn and walk up another set of flight of steps. So we're starting to go up this one flight of steps, and Satan shows up behind this woman, and it's like I knew he was Satan. I'd never seen his face, but I saw him from behind, and he was a little shorter than me. I'm 5'7". He's a little shorter than me, and he had dark, like black hair, and he was wearing a black suit. Um, and like I said, I didn't see his face. I just saw him from behind, and he's walking behind her, but he's in front of me. And then I seen his suit, like right in front of me. His suit turned into silver and black armor. And it's like at that moment I grabbed him. Like I grabbed him with my right hand. And I remember this, like this overwhelming power came over me. I grabbed him, and on that flight of stairs was a window, and I took and I slung him out of the window. And then all of a sudden everyone in the staircase was gone. And I come off that platform, and I proceed up the next flight of stairs, and it's like right there all of a sudden I had this like this blue outfit, um, with these huge wings. They just popped up over me, like attached to me. Um, and it had the most beautiful, like, on the ends of them, like sapphires or like these blue gemstones that I'd never seen before. They were like super sparkly. And that happened, and it was like I felt this overwhelming power, and I woke up. Well, like in real time, that whole day, I felt this like overwhelming. I don't know how to explain it except like an electrical charge or something. Um, and I remember telling my husband about this, and he can witness to it. It was just the strangest thing, but I'll never forget those wings were just absolutely beautiful. So the next dream I'm going to share, since I wrote it on July 24th of 2022 at 5 a.m. So I remember being at someone's house with Frank, and we were staying there for a vacation or something. The toilet was broken and the water wasn't working. So I can remember in my mind what the house looks like on the inside. Um, it was nothing spectacular. And I remember Frank was laying in the bed, but I got up and I went outside and heard a storm was coming. So I walk out on this beautiful, huge patio. So the inside of the house isn't that nice, but when I walk outside, this beautiful, huge patio was sparkly and everything was so bright and clean. And then I was looking up, and above my head was two blue and white swans, a stork, doves, and a blue and white hummingbird and a blue and white butterfly. And I was admiring how they were swimming around above my head. Okay, so this is above my head. I could see water. They're swimming above me. And then from the left, when I turned towards the other direction, this beautiful white fish with blue fins came flying toward me. And I caught it in my hands after taking pictures of it flying and swimming over my head. It was so sparkly, and I ran in to show Frank, but he wasn't that excited about it because he was too asleep to pay attention. Then I wrote, there was a huge flood that wiped out a country. And I told Frank it was time to go. We didn't have time to grab stuff. I went running with this beautiful fish in my hands, trying to show everyone, but no one was excited or cared. I ran up to a harbor behind a man in a white shirt, and he had blonde hair. He didn't care. He just brushed me off. I told everyone, like I was yelling, "Get out of here." And I wrote here it was a beach in Virginia. So it was like around the harbor, like Virginia Beach. And I'm screaming, "Everyone, get out of here. There's a huge flood coming." They laughed. And as the water started pouring over, I mourned because they wouldn't come. I seen all these places burning down, and there was a huge wall made of pallets standing up that we had to get over. So they weren't like just stacked like normal on top of each other. These were like actually stacked standing on top of each other, like almost like a ladder. And there were a few men that got over, and I was the only woman. Frank met me on that side, and we were running. And I seen shopping carts in a warehouse. I see all these places on fire, and I see huge holes dug in the ground. And so at this point, I can remember walking out, and there was like just ash and rubble and like places burning. And I walk out, I'm dressed in all black, and I'm holding a black dog. So there was this dog running around loose. And I got him, and I was trying to save it and find a home for it, but everything was burned down. And I'm jumping over the stubble from a burned down warehouse. Nobody wanted the dog, and I came into this barren land. And then I woke up. So I'm just sharing those because, I don't know, sometimes you just feel like in your spirit, even though you may not know everything that means something, with the interpretations and stuff, But it's very, very strange that, I shared some of my dreams like a couple months ago or a month ago that I had back in 2020. And some of that stuff's been coming to it's like been happening, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what? You know? Um Anyways, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and Haba and Yahusha HaMashiach. Shalom, shalom.